Wilson here again. I have a gilded card for you today using one of the new perspective dies. I love doing gilding, and if you've never done it before, it's so much fun. I'll introduce the dies we're going to be using. It's just two. I've got the Petite striplet called Jubilee, which we're going to create a background with, and this is the Perspective Love die. Okay, so I've done a little bit of prep ahead of time and cut the Jubilee. I've got several of these cut. I've also cut one of the backing pieces. I've used black card and covered it with a self-adhesive sticky sheet so it looks just like this. We're going to cut one more of those. Pop that into place. Tape it. That'll put our sticky onto the backing for us. Okay. So I'm just going to take this one apart. We'll pop that back onto our magnetic sheet. So now I have two backing pieces and two striplets that I can go ahead and use our gilding flakes on. So I'm going to peel the backing off of the self-adhesive sticky sheet on both of these and place the Jubilee striplet on top of it. So it'll look like it's black on black. Let me just line that up. There we go. There's one. Get this one done too. Get a hold of that edge. Oh, let's try that side. It's always the hardest part is taking off the sticky backing paper. Pop that one down. Just try and get it as nice and even as you can. Lay that on. You could always use the waxy side of this to make sure that it's nice and adhered. Pop that down, give it a good rub so you know it's attached to the sticky sheet everywhere. And I've also done just an extra piece with a piece of sticky on it. We're going to go ahead and gild that as well. So we'll do all three pieces at the same time. Right, so I'm going to bring in a piece of copy paper. Gilding flakes are a tiny bit messy, but I think they're well worth it. I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes called Verdigris. Pop the top off and see you're mostly gold, but you've got a little bit of extra colors in there. So I'm just going to put a little bit on each one of these and we'll kind of move them around. If you put the copy paper underneath you, you can pick up any extra bits that you may not use and put it back into your container for later. There we go. That should be plenty. I like to use a Rubit SCRUBIT pad to move it all around. So we're going to pop that all over that adhesive sheet. Get that. So that is nice and covered. And see how it takes off the excess. It's got that nice gentle abrasive area there that you can use. Okay, so that one is finished. Put this one into place. I've got quite a bit of gilding flakes on this, so I'm sure we'll be putting some back into the container. Pop that around. And we'll tidy that up a little bit more. And let's just attach them here. And keep rubbing a little bit. You can take off all the excess. Move those over a little bit. And the Rubit SCRUBIT will refine that and just remove all the extra bits to that. And if you have any little bits sticking over the edge, you can use that too. So that's in good shape. Let's do a little bit more on this one. There we go. Okay, so let me just tidy these up a little bit. We've got quite a bit we can put back in there. In fact, they're actually falling out of the container. They're so full. Pop those out of the way. And let me just do a quick clean here and we will go forward. There we go. Okay. All right, that should work. Now, let me just show you, if you've put it down a little bit off center and you've got an edge that shows, there's a couple things you can do. You can do a little trimming like this. Take your scissors and tidy it up because anything that's got that adhesive is going to show. Or if you just want a little quicker fix, you can use a black marker and go around the edge and you can take that gold part away just by marking over it a little bit. It won't show. Either's a good tip. Okay, so now these two are ready to have some mounting foam put on the back. Pop that down, because we're going to raise those up for a little bit of dimension on our card. Oops. And I've already put two of them on there, so I'll go ahead and finish up our background with these. So put them into place right about like so. Just going to eyeball them rather than measure them, but I will give you an overall measurement. There we go. Let me grab my ruler. The background piece that I've used here underneath that is, oops, 6 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's just the piece that I put that on top of. So we'll come back to that in just a second. Now, here's the piece that I've just gilded flat. What I want to do with this one is take the love die, and I'm going to center that on there, and we'll cut the love out of that. Personally, I think it's a little bit easier than trying to gild it once it's cut, because you might pull the letters as you're moving the gilding flakes around with the Rubit SCRUBIT. So I'm going to pop that into place. Bring it back. And the other thing that's nice doing it this way is you've actually got a real pretty negative that's been gilded you can use as well. So let me just gently undo our tape there. A little left on there. And pop these out. Give them a loosen. There we go. And gently peeled that away. So you've got your pretty negative piece, but for this one we're going to be using the positive piece, okay? Now the other thing that I love with these dies is that you have the little plaques with the different words on them. So I'm just going to use the forever word, and I'm going to cut it out of the already gilded L here. So I'm going to pop that down and definitely tape these. You want them to remain exactly where you want them. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a second piece of tape to make sure it stays. You can always look at the back and see if you've got it a little wonky. That looks like it's nice and straight. Pop that through. There we go. And untape. Okay, and we'll take out our wording. Now I've gone ahead and I've cut the love die 3 times out of black, and I've stacked them up with glue just to get it dimensional, and it will provide a beautiful shadow for this one as well. So we're going to go back to our glue, add some to the back of this. I'm just going to use some Cosmic Shimmer glue here. The letters are nice and wide. And I'll put a little along the bottom here and up around my cutout word very carefully. And I've pulled that a little bit, so we're going to pop that down. I'm going to leave it a slight bit offset just so you'll see that black shadow, and it comes through the word beautifully. Really, really makes it pop. Pop that on there, just like that. There we go. I'm liking the way that looks. We're going to bring back our background, and I've got a bit of mounting foam on the back here. And because I've got gilding flakes, which is kind of like glitter and things like that, you want to add some extra glue just so it's nice and secure. And that is going to sit right in the middle of our 4 gilded striplets. And how is that for a beautiful, elegant, and just glamorous card, I think. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please join me on my blog. It's www.partycraft.blogspot.com. Thanks.